See a reporter stun a CNN journalist after she asks about Donald Trump, tries to insinuate that he's a divider and just a terrible person. But this reporter is not having it. She tells the truth. She's honest about it. All in the context of the recent assassination attempt on Trump, which, guys, I gotta say, that was terrifying. Thank God he's okay. It's just crazy what the world has come to. And, you know, some people are saying, oh, it was just a matter of incompetence. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm curious about what you think about that, too. So that's kind of a fun thing. Just comment below about that. So we're gonna get right into the video, guys. But first, and this is very important, please be sure you like our video, share it around, and yes, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. That way we can keep bringing you guys these great videos, especially now with all this stuff going on with Trump. It's crazy. You know, it really is nuts. I can't overstate that enough. As always, guys, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the show.
We are learning that the former president has now given his very first interview since surviving this attempt on his life to Selena Zito of the Washington Examiner. She just spoke with Trump, and she was at this event, just feet away. Selena, thank you very much for joining us. We're really glad and grateful that you're okay. Tell us about this interview. What did the former president tell you tonight?
Well, it's really interesting. I was just a few feet away from him, along with my daughter, who is a photojournalist. And he was aware of that because I was supposed to go to fly to Bedminster with him after the rally to do an interview with him. And so he called me this morning or this afternoon and said, and wanted to know if myself and my daughter were okay. So that's how the conversation started.
What a good guy, huh? He literally gets shot in an attempted assassination, and the first thing he asks the reporter that he's talking to is, hey, are you and your daughter okay? I think that shows character, honestly. And speaking of character, Trump has a lot more of that than Joe Biden, who seems to dislike America so much that he can't even get our economy straight. Guys, this rampant inflation, it's nuts. And that's why I have decided to partner with Goldco, and I recommend you do it too. What is Goldco? It's a company that offers precious metals, including gold, of course, and some other things. You can buy these and use them as a hedge against inflation, guys. It's a great thing. If you look at American history, as the US dollar has gone down in value and become less valuable, gold has maintained its value, and it's a really good asset in my view. So I'm invested in it personally, and I highly recommend you guys do it too, okay? So if you're interested in learning more, please go to rtmgold.com. You can either type the link in your web browser and just search it, or click the link in the description. Furthermore, you can get a free gold kit, okay? That'll teach you about how to invest in different precious metals. It's a great thing. Goldco is very highly rated, and they care about you guys. So once again, that's rtmgold.com. You can even roll over your IRA and 401k penalty and tax-free, all right? rtmgold.com. Click the link in the description or type in your web browser.
And then I asked him if I could interview him, just talk to him about those moments and about how this changed him. And that's when he said, well, I was going to do a speech that was going to be a real humdinger. I think those were his exact words. Nice. But, you know, everything changed in that moment. And Abby, you have covered his events before. When you watch him at a rally, he always looks forward. Always looks forward. He never looks to his right or to his left. And he had put a screen up that showed a chart. Also never does charts. And he looked to his right, something he never does. And as he looked to his right, the bullet grazed right past his face. And I was standing right there when it happened. And he said, in that moment, he understood that everything had changed for the country and for himself.
No kidding.
What is the speech going to be about now? I imagine that the RNC was supposed to be both a celebratory event, but also a time to make the case against his opponent. What did he tell you he's going to focus on now?
He said he was going to focus on bringing the country back together. He thought that it was very, very important that in that moment, when that happened to him, he understood this is what he wants to do, what he's supposed to do. And he talked a lot about when he stood up, and there's that sort of iconic moment when he puts his fist up. And he told me that he really wanted to project to people. He said it wasn't about him at that moment. He wanted to project to those people, and he says he loves these people, and they are the backbone. This is a Rust Belt area. This is a blue-collar, white, working-class, mostly crowd. And he wanted to project he thought it was important to project to the country in that moment that everything was okay. That he was okay and the country was okay. And I thought that was...
No kidding. It's crazy to think how close he was to his deathbed there, and thank God he didn't end up going that way. You know, Trump really doesn't get enough credit for his message of unity. I really believe this sincerely. So many people say, oh, Trump is such a polarizing and divisive figure. And if you dare to disagree with that, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, look at the media and how they're always so upset. Yeah, is that Trump's fault or is that the media's fault? Honest question. I mean, nobody ever blasts the Democrats for their lack of unity. It's kind of interesting. Remember when Hillary Clinton in 2016 said you could take a large portion of Trump supporters, at least half of them, and put them in a basket of deplorables? Yeah, wow, real unifying figure there, wasn't she? Let's go to Joe Biden. How many times has Joe Biden insulted all of the MAGA movement, Trump voters, Trump supporters, whatever you want to call them, saying that they're racist, irredeemable, terrible people, ultra MAGA, white supremacist, KKK, all this stupid stuff. But Trump is the one who's not unifying and he's the one who's polarizing? Have you ever heard Trump go and insult Democrat voters en masse the way Democrats very comfortably do with conservative voters literally all the time? The answer is no. It's obviously the case. Yet somehow Trump is the one who's not unifying. BS. I am sick of hearing that, and you should be too. So I really appreciate the reporter putting this emphasis on that because it's true. Trump actually does want to unify the country. Whether you like him or not, I do sincerely believe that is the case.
What about what the last couple of hours, last 24 hours has been like for the former president? Did you get a sense of what's his life like? Who is he being surrounded by? What has he been doing? And how has he been coping with that life-changing moment that you just described?
Well, he said he's been taking phone calls and talking to people of all different political stripes, of all different stations in life. And people are talking to him and of course, making sure that he's okay. So I think that he's feeding off of that positive sort of feedback from people. I mean, I did ask him who he was with. But, you know, he was, as I was interviewing him, he was getting ready to leave Bedminster and go to Milwaukee. Something he wasn't initially going to do, but decided, you know, I'm not going to let anything change me. I need to be there. I'm supposed to be there. I'm going there.
You know, Selena, you've talked to Trump a lot. You've been around him. You've been to so many of these rallies. Trump is I think by his very nature, a pretty defiant personality. Do you get the sense that when he talks about unity, that is a change for him? Do you feel like it's something that he really means? Or is it something that could fade as the days goes on between now and when he's expected to give his speech?
Ask that about Biden. You never will.
Well, you know, I think he would argue that he does unify people, that he does bring together people in the way that in particular in the way that he talks about people from the Great Lakes Midwest, who he feels and he believes have been very disconnected from the process, sort of not really engaged, just sort of mechanically voted. But because of the way he talks about the dignity of work, the way he talks about the working class, and the way he tries to project this sort of...
Bingo. He cares about the working class. The Democrats don't. They might pretend to sometimes, but they very obviously don't. Hence their use of terms like flyover country to describe the Rust Belt. Just disgusting. CNN, by the way, has called it that a bunch of times. They really are coastal elites in every sense of that word.
Part of something bigger than yourself, that he has electrified them. And so he believes that is unity. I mean, I can't speak for what's inside his head, but based on conversations that I have had with him, I think that he believes that that's very important. And from his perspective, he has done a good job of unifying people. And his coalition is growing. We can't deny that that's happening.
It's so true. Trump has more Latinos voting for him, more black people voting for him, supporting him, etc., more women, all of these things. Actually, if you look at the 2020 election, about 4 years back, the only group Trump lost with is white men. Now, that's not to say it's a good thing that he did or anything like that. That's not the point. The point is he's expanding his coalition in terms of diversity, which is something the left constantly just blathers on about. And he's gaining more support in general with pretty much everybody at this point. So who's the unifier? I don't know. I don't think it's Joe Biden. Just saying.
But I think when I'm asking, really, I mean, this is the same person who often talks about retribution, about his political enemies, about the other side of the aisle. Do you think he's going to drop that rhetoric? Is that the sense that you got from what he told you?
What about the Biden DOJ literally charging Trump on made-up bullshit felony charges, convicting him, and then trying to throw him in prison for the rest of his life? Are you kidding me? You're gonna sit here and talk about political retribution? These people are so ridiculous. And honestly, it's insulting. Like, this CNN lady over here clearly thinks her viewers are too stupid to understand the hypocrisy in what she's saying. And I'm not gonna speculate on whether she's correct or not, because maybe that'll lead us to a conclusion we don't wanna find out. But the point is, it's so arrogant. They think the masses are just a bunch of idiots and fools. And it's so clear with this insane manner that they discuss these topics. It's just ridiculous.
I got the sense that he believed that he should unify. What that looks like, I obviously don't know. I think both sides be really great if we weren't so harsh with each other. And harsh is even a mild word to describe some of the ways that we speak to each other and the way we talk to each other. And the way politicians talk, but I can't get inside his head. But in that moment, I believe that this is very important to him.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that interview. That CNN lady was clearly trying to prod some, in my opinion, biased answers out of the reporter there, but she wasn't having it. She was just doing her job and really just trying to, in my view, be as unbiased as she could be. And I really respect that, because you don't see that in the media pretty much at all nowadays. With all that in mind, thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless. Please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked, what you want to see next, and we'll see you guys again soon. Peace out.